You are a fighter that comes from being a world-class BJJ competitor. What motivated
Hmm.
you to enter the MMA? You only had six fights. Four of them were excellent victories. After these, you moved to bantamweight. What motivated you to change divisions again? What does it feel like a fighter to be on the record in such a difficult division? And in all these years that you have competed in the UFC, what has been the opponent that you have found to be the hardest to beat? What fighter do you have in mind? Which fight can use to catapult you with eventual to the top 15 of the UFC?
Yeah, I mentioned Uriah Faber.
Es la reina Beats.
Such as the bantamweight division, a fighter who has stood out through his career, possessing a pure BJJ world champion at the ADCC in April 27. Ladies and gentlemen, with us, Rani Yahya. Entonces, el día de hoy vamos a tener el placer de
Sure.
entrevistar a una de las personas de la división del peso gallo, el cual es Rani Yahya, la cual se ha hecho camino usando puro BJJ, siendo campeón en el 2007 en ADCC y siendo un total veterano de la UFC. So, starting with the first question, Rani, you are a fighter that comes from being a world-class BJJ competitor. What motivated
Hmm.
you to enter the MMA?
MMA was my motivation since the beginning. First time I ever heard about Jiu-Jitsu was watching Royce Gracie in the UFC, Rickson Gracie in Japan, and then I started to do Jiu-Jitsu. Uh, uh, Started to compete in BJJ, but my focus was always to be a BJJ representative uh, in MMA, which back in the day was Vale Tudo, no NHB, no holds barred, right? The sporting wasn't where it is right now. So that was my motivation, and I knew the UFC was the highest level of being a jiu-jitsu fighter, so it was always my dream.
So you're saying that your motivation was since the beginning the UFC at that time was Vale because you were inspired by the Gracies in order for you to practice the BJJ, right?
Yeah. So I became a jiu-jitsu competitor.
So you wanted to be a BJJ fighter, inspired by the Gracies. Entonces, lo que dice Rani Yahya es que fue inspirado desde el principio, ya que tuvo una influencia motivadora de parte de los Gracie. En ese entonces no era UFC, sino más bien Vale Tudo, pero que además del MMA siempre le gustó, al parecer, el grappling y siempre quiso ser lo que es ahora, un BJJ, un peleador de BJJ también. So, following the next question, you have fought in the big leagues for a long time. You went through K1 and established yourself in the
Yes.
UFC since 2011. So, my question is what it's like to be a veteran who still keeps competing at the best level? So, after all this time, how do you keep fighting so good? Like, we watching your performances and you have a good rhythm. How do you do that?
Yeah, I think the main thing is the mindset. Putting myself in a position of a student. This is very important. That this sport evolves so much from when I started, from when I got in the UFC. so many things change, and I feel that I'm a student, I'm an spectator, I always watch, always try to improve, train with new people, learn new things. This is one aspect. And the other thing I think is the technique of BJJ, the jiu-jitsu technique, because the jiu-jitsu was brought me to that level, to the UFC level, definitely. And I think when you a jiu-jitsu fighter, like and you know how to use the technique properly in a mixed martial arts fight, it can give you like longevity to stay there, because you don't allow yourself to get punched way too much. So I think it is because of mindset first, and then the technique of BJJ.
Very much. Entonces lo que nos dice Randy Yahya en este caso, algo muy importante, es que él hace un ejercicio mental, lo que es el mindset. Él dice que la mentalidad es muy importante. Una persona tener un plan y siempre tener la actitud de aprendiz. Él dice que cuando se tiene la actitud de aprendiz, siempre una persona o un atleta en cualquier aspecto de la vida siempre va a aprender algo. Entonces siempre se mantiene en esa expectativa de ser estudiante, le encanta ser estudiante, y además de eso prepararse mentalmente, y la demás técnica se le agradece totalmente a su jiu-jitsu. You have the finger on your screen. I can barely see. If you can leave your finger. Oh, okay.
Okay. So, how about, is it good now?
Yes, perfect. So moving to the third question, you had an interesting step in your beginnings of the UFC, in which you went through the featherweight. You only had 6 fights. 4 of them were excellent victories. After these, you moved to bantamweight. What motivated you to change divisions again?
Man, the guys were having advantage over me because they were heavier than me. For me to make to be a featherweight, all I had to do is to skip dinner for like a week, and then I would reach the featherweight weight contract, and usually I was giving kind of 10, 15 pounds, like 5, 6, 7 kilos advantage to my opponents. And that in the UFC level, man, makes a lot of difference. So I decided to go to bantamweight because all the other competitors in bantamweight, they have my body frame. We have the same weight, the same height, So that's why I decided to do this move.
Entonces él decidió hacer ese movimiento de división por el hecho de que en la división anterior algunas personas, o por no decir todos, tenían la ventaja de lo que era el tamaño, también el peso. Imagino que también para cortar el peso hubiera sido un poco más difícil. Ya cuando se mueve este peso, este es un peso más ideal. Él dice que simplemente tuvo que trabajar en su peso una semana y pudo concentrarse más en lo que fue su entrenamiento, algo totalmente clave en lo que es la UFC. So, Rani, you have super interesting numbers in the bantamweight category, and you are surrounded by big names like Uriah Faber, TJ Dillashaw, Dominic Cruz, Rafael Asuncao, Raynan Barral, among others. You're the sixth on the 6th place in wins with 8, and tied for the first place with no submissions with 6. Behind only Uriah Faber in the latter category. What does it feel like a fighter to be on the record in such a difficult division and on the same list of all those great fighters who have gone through it?
Yeah, I feel very good. I feel happy that I'm achieving this level. Being the guy with the more submissions in this division. Right now, I can tell you that that's my focus. Increase these numbers. Break this record for the guy with more finishes. in this division. And that's my goal, tap more people. And I feel very happy that I reached this level. For me, I didn't even think about too much about breaking any record or anything. For me, it was a happy satisfaction for me to just to be in the highest level, like have my name among all these other names, all these other big names, because these guys already made history in this sport.
Entonces él dice que se siente muy bien el hecho de estar en una división que sea tan difícil. Él dice que simplemente se va a mantener trabajando para romper el récord en cuanto a las sumisiones y que básicamente se siente bien estar con uno de los mejores por el hecho de que es algo que es muy reconfortante de su carrera, el hecho de estar con personas que están haciendo historia en la UFC. So the other question is, in all these years that you have competed in the UFC, what has been the opponent that you have found to be the hardest to beat? What is your hardest opponent right now in your history of your...
Yeah, I had two opponents that for my style was very hard for me. One was Chad Mendes. I fought him as a featherweight. I think he already had retired. I'm not sure, but was a very good wrestler. Very difficult to take him down, and also very a very explosive fighter. He was definitely the toughest fighter I faced. The other guy where I didn't have the right strategy, I ended up not having a good result, but different than Chad Mendes, I think he got a lot more openings in his game that it could make him beatable. Is Rick Simon. He was the last guy to beat me. I mean, on that fight between me and him, I ended up being knocked down the very beginning, and that take the fight to a direction where he was having the advantage the whole time. In a different fight, I would have a completely different strategy. But these two guys, Chad Mendes and Rick Simon, was the toughest guys I faced in this sport.
Entonces él dice que el más difícil de todos fue Chad Mendes cuando estaba en el featherweight division, y ya que era un peleador demasiado explosivo y la lucha de él era bastante buena. Y el otro, que era más o menos del mismo estilo, pero que tenía más aperturas para él hacer su juego, es Rick Simon. Esos dos han sido los peleadores que, por así decirlo, le han dado más pelea. So the other one is, so let me just... continue with the questions. You came from winning a fight, which you were able to dominate from start to finish and show off your world-class BJJ. Do you think you will end the fight the way that you prepare for a 15 minutes? Like, you pretend to have a fight for 15 minutes, or your plan is to finish the fight earlier?
You know what? My plan in my career, during all my career, was to finish the fight soon as I could. But I had a different mindset for this last fight. My goal actually was to be focused on winning the 3 rounds, winning by decision. I did that. I did this mindset change because there were so many times where I burned myself trying to submit the guy earlier, because just in order to submit a guy, a BJJ guy like me, we have to do many things: close the distance, take the guy down, keep the guy on the ground, reach a good position, then finally reach a submission, and that can happen quick, but takes a lot of energy, you know, especially when you train with an athlete who had an entire training camp preparing for that. To do that against you, you know, sprawl, moving around, and stand right back up when they get taken down. So I decided to have the change in this mindset, you know, be more calm during the fight, win all the 3 rounds, and if I got the submission, I had the submission. So that's exactly what happened in this last fight. I didn't rush too much. If it was before, I think I would have attempted to finish earlier and maybe burn myself. Maybe I could get it, finish the fight in the first round, maybe not, but I would have tried for sure. So, but now I decided to be more calm, you know, win the rounds. My focus was win all the rounds.
Muy bien. Entonces él dice que ahora mismo su objetivo es ganar todos los rounds. Normalmente él tenía la forma de pensar de acabar la pelea pronto, pero que normalmente una persona que hace grappling, en este caso Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu o Jiu-Jitsu brasileño, normalmente tiene que enfocarse en muchas cosas, desde cerrar distancia, derribar al oponente y luego la sumisión. Entonces en este plan, que fue lo que hizo en la pelea pasada, él simplemente sigue teniendo el mismo plan y si tiene el chance de la sumisión, reaccionar lo más rápido posible para hacer acabar la pelea. Pero el primer plan es ganar los 3 rounds uno por uno en su defecto. So the last question is, after this great performance on your last fight, we see that you rank on 19th place in the world. Knowing this, what fighter do you have in mind? What do you understand that you can, which fight can use to catapult you with eventual to the top 15 of the UFC? Which fighter do you think that you will do a great fight and also will allow you to be at least on the 15th place?
Yeah, I mentioned Uriah Faber. I think he's a very good opponent for me now. I think would be a fight would the entire world would like to see this fight, me against Faber, because we've been fighting for such a long time. We've been fighting for the same time, me and Faber. My first fight was in 2002. His first fight was 2003. Another guy who I would like to fight is David Grant. You know, Grant, he fought the same card. He fought the same night last Saturday, and he knocked out beautifully Jonathan Martinez. Incredible knockout. He's now in a 3-win streak. So we fought the same night. I would love to fight him. So these 2 guys.
Entonces él dice que le gustaría pelear con Uriah Faber, ya que es un peleador muy completo, y también con David Grant, que peleó en el evento pasado y ganó por nocaut, y que ahora mismo está en el ranking. Eso es muy ambicioso de su parte. So Rani, you have, it's been a pleasure for me to give you this interview. Me myself, I'm a fan from grappling, and I'm following your BJJ from earlier. And believe me when I say that it's an honor to have you here. Can you just send a greeting to your Latin American fans, including Dominican Republic?
Yeah, guys. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much for all the support. The support of all of you is very, very important. And hope to get better and make better fights for you guys.
Él dice que muchas gracias y que va a seguir haciendo peleas para los fans como nosotros. Again, it's a pleasure to have you here. Good luck on your fight and hope you have a nice rest of the day. Peace.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Gracias.
Es la reina Beats.